Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is get the exhaust tips off. So I'm using a rubber mallet, just gently hitting them on the back side. I'm going to save these for hopefully to put on the new exhaust. So what we're doing is we're removing the stock exhaust from a 335 F30. We're going to put a M Performance exhaust on. So hopefully this goes well, and if it does, you guys will have a good idea of how to do it. If it doesn't go well, you have a good idea how not to do it. Alright, stay tuned. Alright, here we are underneath the car. You see the stock exhaust. I've taken both of the tips off. Next step you're going to want to do is move over to the driver's side and remove the wire. And I've got actually mine taped off anyway, so it keeps both exhaust valves open. So this is the little module that opens and closes the valve. Here's the wire. You're going to take it off if it's not already off on yours. And then where we're going to be cutting is, see if I can get the camera to focus right. There's a little dimple right here. So that's supposed to be where we cut. And then that will be a perfect area to then clamp the new exhaust on. The other thing we're going to be doing is removing the exhaust hangers, or not removing them, but taking the exhaust out of the hangers. I haven't done that yet, so that should be fun. What I'm going to do on mine is I'm going to cut a little bit to the left of the dimple. My thinking there is just that it's easier to cut more off if I need to than to add more pipe. So, alright, what you're going to need to do to cut it, you're going to need to get a tool like this. It's a exhaust cutting tool. That's what I'm going to be using. I went to AutoZone, and for $50 you can buy the tool. It's their way of renting it. You buy the tool, and then after you're done with it, you take it back, get your money back. So that's what we're going to try. One thing to note, when I went there this morning and got this, they had two of them. One of them is pretty rounded off and chewed up, so just I suggest you check the blades and make sure that they're at least somewhat sharp before you take it with you. Alright? Okay, so here we are, we've got it connected. You just wrap the chain around the exhaust, put the pins in the little holder up here, and then you should just have to put a little pressure like you're closing some pliers, and then rotate. I keep doing that until it cuts through the pipe. Then you can see it already starting to make a line. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, so where we're at with the cutting tool, I used it, took a little bit of pressure obviously, just clamping it down with like a plier, and the result I have now is it's cut at the top, as you can see, and it's not all the way through at the bottom, which kind of sucks in a way, but I think it might work out well for me, because what I'm going to do now is try to get these exhaust hangers down, and at least that'll give me a little bit of support while I'm doing that. And then the thought is, as the exhaust hangers are removed and I bend bend it down, it might go all the way through then and remove the pipe. So let's see how that goes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some WD-40, I guess the liquid equivalent to duct tape, because it's good for everything, and I'm going to spray some of that in the exhaust hanger right here where it's holding on the part of the muffler that goes into the exhaust hanger. So that's going to hopefully lube it up enough where I can then take some channel locks and just pry it off, because you know it's made of rubber, so it should bend a little bit. And if I can pry that off, then I'll get that exhaust hanger loose and then move over to the other one, get the other one loose. So let me try that. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that while holding the camera, so let me get it at least working first. Spray the WD-40 in there and start working it loose a little bit before I start filming again and show you how it comes off. Alright? Hopefully I'll be right back. Actually, I'll be immediate through the wizardry of video editing. Here's what we got. We got the in-performance exhaust and the stock exhaust. I did get it off. I'll show you a little bit of what I had to do with the exhaust hangers to get that off and give you some tips on how to make it a little easier than what I did. So we'll go up under the car. See, the exhaust is gone. So I've got a small burr on the pipe, but I'll get that off. Getting the exhaust hangers off was actually the hardest part so far of this job. Once you get it through with the WD-40, you gotta lube it up a little bit. You start moving it off. They actually make a tool that I did not buy. That makes it a whole lot easier. They're a pair of pliers specifically for this job. They've got like a fork on one blade, if you will, and a post on the other. That just goes through and pushes the post in here. The fork hits here, and you just pull it right off. That would have been a whole lot easier. What I did, use some channel locks, push the nub through, and then just kept pulling and pulling and pulling until one side came off. Another little tip, if you're going to do that, get both of them started first, because once this one came out all the way, the pipe, you know, separated, and then it was not a huge deal, but it was a little harder to get back on. Okay, next step I'm going to do is to get the new exhaust, put it in the exhaust hangers first. Well, actually the first thing I'll do is put the sleeve, get this burr off there and put the sleeve over here so I have something to set it in. And then I'll start trying to rehang it up into the hangers. And then what I've seen online is some people saying that it doesn't sit exactly like the stock one, but I think if you move it back and forth on this pipe and the sleeve, you can probably get to where you want it to be as far as the clearance and how far out the exhaust will stick out. So that's what I'm going to be trying next. Alright, new exhaust is in. First thing I did was I put the sleeve on the existing pipe, just to have it up there and in place and ready to go. I pulled this is just styrofoam packing, pulled that off the valve up here, or the mechanism that opens up the valves rather, sorry. I slid this in to the hanger on the driver's side first. Make sure that the nub comes all the way through so it's secure. And then while I was holding up the exhaust, what I did then is I slid it into the passenger side. I pulled the sleeve back over to make a, you know, one cohesive pipe. And then next step I'm going to do, make sure I've got it sitting exactly how I want it, and then I'm going to tighten these up. These are 17 millimeter bolts, and I'll talk to you in a second after I do that. So last thing I did is I put my Burger Motorsports tips back on, and I know one of the things that was discussed in the forums was whether they'll fit or not. It took a little negotiating, but I did get them on there with a rubber mallet. So Might just purchase the M tips, but I'll run these for now. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to include some before and after of the sound, and that'll be it. Thanks. The exhaust has been on for about a day. Sounds pretty good. Again, what we've done is, or what I've done actually, is put a M Performance exhaust on my 335 F30, and it sounds pretty good. Only after one day I've heard it's supposed to break in and sound even better as time goes on. So what I'll do is if it's significantly better, I'll post another video follow-up with what it sounds like now. But it sounded pretty good today when I took some video. Let's take a walk around the car real quick. I'll show you what I've done so far. Not a whole lot, but it's something. So I put the InGen air intake on. ECS air intakes. Just kind of a little red scoop, but it doesn't really do much, except for maybe add a little color to the front of the car, to be quite honest. But thought they were pretty cool, so I put them on. It was a Father's Day gift for my kids. M wheels with the M calipers, 4 pistons. I do need to change the rotors out. Those are stock rotors. Then I got the trunk spoiler that I put on. Burger Motorsports tips. I don't know if you can see under here. This car didn't come with any backup sensors or backup camera. So one of the things I wanted to add that I did was a BimmerTech camera system to the back of the car. Works great. Works like OEM. You put it in reverse, and the view of the camera shows up perfectly on the screen, takes up the whole screen. It's the F30 335 Sportline, so it's got the rear, or the red highlights in it, red stitching, black leather. Very happy with the car so far. I like it a lot. So I've done some coding also to add some features, take some things, change them that I didn't want, like the auto start and stop feature I took off. We're not disabled, but I made it where it doesn't start with auto start and stop on, because it's just annoying. So that's my 335 F30 Sportline. I've also got an E90 330 Xi. So if you guys have any future suggestions for videos, let me know on either of these cars. If it's something I'm interested in doing, I'll take a video of me either doing it or screwing it up, one of the two. Could be either a how-to or a cautionary tale. Subscribe. Thanks.